Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The last time I spoke in a JCI event was in Quezon City, where I spoke in a NBA Fantasy opening draft night. So I was surprised that I'm going to meet up with a lot of fine-looking ladies and gentlemen. So I'm excited to be here. I love the color green, animo. And again, the time that I was invited here, I don't know, it's really something this big, and I'm so excited. And I was asking myself, what is a basketball coach doing in an event like this? So that means there must be something that I have to share, which is something that's so important to me. And I also want to say good evening to my Koyang sirs that are here also right now. It's also an honor to be on your audience here. So the first time po that everything started for me was I was asking myself, and in an event that really transpired sa akin po as a coach when I was starting coaching was when I started to ask myself back in November 2017. I was at the end of my coaching contract, and it wasn't really a good experience for me. And that was the time that I asked myself, I was a head coach. I played professional. I was also coaching college prior to that. I went to a lot of coaching clinics. I attended a lot of camps. But why is it I'm not connecting to my players? And I get to ask myself, I might be in a leadership position, but I don't have any followers. And that's the time I started to realize that in order for me to have followers, I have to build connections. And that was the start of my coaching journey. And that's where it inspired me to create an environment, a safe environment. So again, that was me. And I was asking myself, why do I have to put this name on this board? But it doesn't mean what my accomplishments were starting as a coach, because nobody cares about this. I mean, you might have all the accolades, you might be in a very, very powerful position, but if you cannot really connect with your players, you're always going to be on the bottom of your standings as a coach. So for tonight, it's all about building trusting teams. How does it have to build a trusting team? Because it's really important in this kind of work that you have to build trusting teams. That's where I discovered the circle of safety. I have to create an environment where everybody that I work with feels safe in this environment. Before, I was so focused on the numbers that I never imagined that they're also human beings. I thought they were just numbers for me to advance my cause. The wins and losses was so important to me that I forgot that I was dealing with human beings. And by having that circle of safety where they could just be themselves, where we could always be ourselves. So one of the things that we've discovered is discovering their gifts. And not only discover their gifts as athletes, but also discover their gifts as individuals. Because these players, I discovered that most of them didn't have any father. Or they had fathers, but they're absent in their lives. So all along, they weren't really looking for a coach. They were looking for a father. Somebody that's going to tell them if they're doing wrong. Somebody that's going to inspire them also. It's not really a coach that they needed. But it was really hard for me because you really have to build a relationship with them. And it's an investment. Building a relationship is an investment because you have to spend a lot of time with them. You ask them about their fears, ask them about their ambitions, and really be with them because they're longing for that kind of relationship for somebody. And part of that is, again, once you build that relationship, you're gonna develop them also. So again, we focus so much on the winning that we're forgetting that we as leaders wanted to also build leaders and not followers. Because again, that's the result of developing their gifts. Once they're in a safe space, I only have one rule in my teams that I've coached. It's always about use your best judgment and no other rules. And that's so important in trusting teams because once they start to feel safe in their environment, the natural thing is they're going to start taking care of each other. Because they're not so worried about taking care of themselves in an environment that they don't feel safe. And then now, when they feel safe, they're starting to care for each other. And that's where trust happens. I've always thought that I have to build loyalty. But when I started to build trusting teams, that's where I discovered, hindi ko po kailangan ng loyalty, hindi ko kailangan ng loyal sa akin. I need trusting teams. I need trust and cooperation. Because once you have that kind of relationship with them, they really want to win it not only for themselves, but they want to win it for you. Because now, they're not treating you as their coach or as their leader. They're treating you as their father or somebody they really look up to. And it's really hard in a basketball setting because these guys are all about their egos also. It's all about how many likes will I get when I post something. I want to be the main guy. Those are the challenges we're having, especially in the game of basketball. But once you build that kind of relationship with them, they're going to start caring for each other. We always talk about being our brother's keeper. Just like our family, our relatives, or our loved ones, we bicker and fight. You know, yung magkakapatid, we always fight. We always bicker. But once my sister or my brother is threatened, we're going to be a united front. And that's how teams should be. You could bicker and fight, you could argue, but at the end of the day, if there's outside force trying to threaten us, we have to be a united front. And that's so important. Because in teams, in order for you to survive and thrive, you have to work together. The reason why we survive as human beings is because we work together as a team. That's why the dinosaurs, as powerful as they were back in the ages, because they only work alone. And I hope by building the circle of safety, we're going to build that environment that we, as human beings, will work together. What we wanted is to bring these kids to a place that they cannot do it alone. That's where they're starting to share their gifts. And one of the things that we always tell our players is, we want to play basketball not only to win games, but also to be an inspiration to others. That's something like winning a championship is just going to be a byproduct of what we're doing as a team. And I'm sure part of everything that looking at your vision, mission, it's all about serving others. And we could also serve it by playing the way we play as brothers and sisters. So we were, 2018, we made history by winning, by sweeping the whole season. We were 18-0, which was first in the NCAA. But we ended up not winning the championship. We got swept by San Beda during 2018 NCAA season. What I'm trying to say is, hindi porket solid ang team, hindi porket united ang team, hindi porket the players are caring for each other, it will always be winning. But what's important there is, if as long as we're going to work together, it doesn't mean if we win a championship. What's important for us was we were together no matter what. You'll never put your son or your daughter in harm's way. You're never going to blame your daughter or your son if things are not doing well. Di ba po inaako natin as our parents? And pagka nagkakaroon po ng challenges yung anak natin, we always help them. Ganon din po ang trusting team. You have to treat each other as your own. Hindi mo po siya itatapon or ilalagay sa alanganin when things are not doing well. And that was an example po that even if we are doing well, na-check namin lahat ng mark, we did the right thing, we played hard, but we still lose the ball game. But what's important there is how we build a relationship. Because at the end of the day, ano po ba dapat yung mas importante? We have to be clear po kung ano yung dapat natin gawin as leaders. Ito po is, ang pinakamahalaga is, how do you want to be remembered? COVID has really taught me a lot of lessons. that any given time you'll be gone. So now you want to ask yourself, at the end of the day, as a leader, how did you ever touch the lives of the people that was under your care? And it's always not about just winning games or being the best coach or whatsoever, but it's about how you make these lives change. Because at the end of the day, again, they're your children. And sinabi po sa akin because sometimes I get burned sa kakaintindi po sa kanila. And one of my players asked me, Coach, why are you doing this to me? Unang-una, hindi mo naman ako kamag-anak eh. Hindi mo naman ako anak eh. But why are you putting so much time and effort sa akin? Bakit ganito mo ako kamahal na gusto mo palagi yung kapakanan ko? That's why my players ask me and I told them, son, as long as you make sure someone's life is okay, God will make sure your life will be okay. And it's talking about service. And I saw it earlier po when I was reading all the vision and I saw service and I said, now I know the reason why I'm here. Because this story of mine is talking about service. It's not about my position as a coach of whoever team that I'm gonna coach, but it's important is how will I serve the players that was dealt to me? How will I use my as a leader to be of service to the people that I serve? So yun po yung napaka-importante para sa akin and I value it too much. And wherever I will be placed in a leadership position, it's always gonna be service. And it's hard. Kaya nga po yung sinabi kanina, being a leader is hard. Kaya po hindi, ang leadership is not for everyone. Because you have to really sacrifice a lot. It's so important po, if you really are in a leadership position, be the leader you wish you had. Maraming salamat po and good luck po sa mga leaders natin. Thank you.